Hey, what's going on, everybody? Jamin here for the Kinda Cool Podcast. This is episode 13, and this is a pretty sad episode of the podcast. It's a solo episode, and it's going to be dedicated to one of my friends who passed away recently. His name was Matthew Thomas, and his real name was actually something different, I guess. His sister posted on Facebook, and this is how I found out about it, that they posted a link to a GoFundMe for funeral arrangements, and then I messaged some of my friends that knew him as well, and they said, yeah, it was true and everything. So I was like, oh, well, that's sad, because I didn't think it was true. I mean, it was just a Facebook post that I saw, and it's like, well, you never know. These things can be, the world gets screwy, guys, so I don't know. Yeah, so this is going to be dedicated to him, and I was just going to talk about him and the experiences I had with him and how I met him, and just, have something go out to his memory, because, he was a person, he leaves a lot of things behind, and it's just over now, it's sad. Okay, so I met Matthew, we just called him Matt, at Walmart in Atoka here in Oklahoma, and he was a new hire. I think he started on maintenance. He was about my age, maybe a little bit, maybe 1 year older or so, but we were very similar in age. Sorry, I got some freaking burps going on. But he was a very interesting fellow, let me tell you that. Like, right off the bat, very interesting guy. He wanted us to call him Creepy Matt, and that was how we were going to remember his name. You just call me Creepy Matt. And I mean, after that, I kind of remembered it. He always looked like a Michael to me. So I always wanted to call him Michael, because I knew a guy that looked like him, kind of, and his name was Michael. So I was always like, Creepy Matt. And so it helped me remember his name. Very energetic guy. He would talk your ear off, man. He had a lot to say, let me tell you. He lived with his dad, his adopted dad, and they were like best friends. He talked about his dad every single day, they would just give each other hell, and they would just talk shit to each other, and they would play video games together and all this stuff. His dad had cancer, and it really affected his arm. I'm not sure what kind of cancer he had exactly, but I remember Matt saying that he had like wraps all over his arm, like bandages, and it was real fucked up for some reason. And I think right before, like a little bit before I moved from Atoka store to where I'm at now, his dad passed away, and it was very rough time for Matt. He had a lot of struggles going on with him there after that. I mean, he just wasn't like the same person. He lost basically his best friend, and pretty much the only person that he really confided in, and I guess probably felt comfort in. They spent so much time together, and he lived with him. So after he's gone, it was kind of like there was a weird ordeal with housing and the housing situation, and his dad leaving him money and him having to figure it out. Okay, I'm back. Megan called me, talking about some school stuff, of course. So, as I was saying, Matt's dad passed away. It affected him a lot, and he was dealing with the aftermath of it, because there's a lot of stuff that goes into when a relative dies. You have like death certificates, you have funerals, you have the will and all that, if there is a will. And if there's not, it's even more messy, because you're like, what assets are what, who gets what, And I remember him talking to me about about some of that stuff, and I wish that if I could go back, I would, you know, be there and listen a bit more to him around that time, because this is when I was getting ready to move. Megan had just started being a big part of my life, and I just didn't give him the time that he needed to, explain it to me very well and really give him some advice or see his perspective. Because I was wrapped up in my own stuff. That's a big step, moving from your home to moving in with a person you're going to be in a relationship with. And yeah, this is a bad deal all around. But he had struggles with that. And also, right around the time he moved here and he started working with us, he started dating a girl, and they had a baby together, like a year after he got here or something like that. So baby Atreus is in the world, and it's very sad to have now he's not with us, and his little one is still going to be out there and won't grow up with a father. I could feel that Matt probably had some depression issues deep down. He was always super cheery and energetic, but he gave off that weird vibe of like he had like a dark side to him where he could go into these really dark places. And I never thought that anything would come from that. I don't know what happened with his death. I know that it was cardiac arrest is what they say. So basically just a heart failure or heart attack. Looking onto his Facebook profile after I found out, there was some disturbing posts that he made talking about, and he would always text in nonsense gibberish stuff. He would never proofread anything. He would just type frantically and then hit send. It seems like that's what it always looked like to me anyways. So on his profile there is posts with some manic phrases and just like some dark stuff that he said, and which makes me lean towards the fact that he may have harmed himself, which is very sad. And I hope that it was not intentional. I think maybe he overdosed on accident. And you could still do that without meaning to kill yourself. You can take a bunch of pills or do a bunch of drugs or whatever, and then it just kill you. And you do all the drugs and you do that because you're not because you're wanting to really end it, but because you want to feel not yourself, or you want to feel different than you feel now. And then that accidentally takes you out. And this is all speculation, of course. I only knew Matt. I never met any of his family. I saw his dad one time in the store. I never talked to his sister. She's the one who posted that post for the GoFundMe to have him cremated and stuff like that. So, and that's weird that he has a different last name. I think he changed his name when he got adopted. He took a different name. Excuse me. And that's how I knew him as. I think his name given at birth is like John something. I think he's Hispanic. His father was Hispanic, I think, anyways. His last name is something sounding like, Hispanic. But that's just a sad deal. If I would have stayed around Walmart more, I'd always talk to him about like hanging out and, drinking some beers and chilling out and stuff like that. And he seemed like he was really down for it. But before we ever got to do it, I ended up leaving the store. So, and I don't know what really happened to him after that. We would talk on Facebook and we would message each other back and forth a little bit, but nothing like, not all the time or every day. He would send me some gross stuff. He had that gross sense of humor, like some some big ding dongs or something, some big ding dong pictures, and then put laugh emojis. And there was one time at the store. Well, before I get to the stories, in the messages, I have a bunch of pictures of him and his baby and some videos, and just to put them out there somewhere so that, it's more of a symbolic gesture, but I'll put some of the pictures and the videos in this video at the end of it, so that it can be like a, I don't know, just as something to bookend, the life and times of Matt, I guess. It would have been cool to actually got to see him and drink the beers and stuff, because he's a wacky, crazy dude. It would have been fun. I'm saddened by this. I don't even know what to think about. Atreus' mom I've known her too. I think he'll be okay. She worked hard there at the store and seemed like she was really responsible, so he'll be okay. It's just, he'll miss that father's love, because he'll see the videos and the pictures. Matt really did love him. I think it just got too hard. He mentioned that in his post, like, it's just too hard, everything's hard, and I can't do it anymore. So he did, I don't know, I won't say it anymore, but, I think he didn't see a way out of his situation. He only saw one way out. And I hope that anyone out there hearing this, if you are in a depressive state, or, you're on this roller coaster of emotions, reach out to somebody. Post a comment down here, reach out to me. We'll talk. We can do a podcast together. Or if you don't want to be on the air, you just want to chat, I have a Zoom. I do a lot of Zoom calls for the podcast, so I could meet up with you on there and we can talk it out. So, yeah, there'll be the videos. If you want to see those videos and pictures, he sent me so many. He was very proud. He wanted to show somebody. He posted a lot of pictures, but, there's so many accounts, like there's so many Matthew Thomases and everything, you probably will never find it. And I wouldn't feel great about just linking his Facebook account, but he sent me these photos and these videos directly. I have them in Messenger, so I feel like those are easier for me to share than to just take videos from his Facebook account. And I think not a lot, but some of them that I have are actually not on his Facebook, so there'll be some out there that, no one's ever seen. Okay, so let's talk about, let me try to talk through and remember some stories about Matt so that I can, really put this dedication out there. There's one time that was real funny to me that I won't forget, because it was awkward and funny. So at work we have microphones. Sorry, not microphones. We have walkie-talkies. A lot of times we would confuse it and say microphones, but we have walkie-talkies. So you get your walkie. And they wouldn't let Matt have a walkie, I don't think, during the daytime. But when he was on my shift overnight for maintenance, I let him have it. So that I could, have him know where he's at. It's good to know where Matt's at. So there was one night where we were talking, and I was at the front doing this thing, and he was out in the vestibule sweeping up, and he was chatting with me. And he started walking away from the doors, but he was still trying to talk to me because he was still sweeping and everything, and I had to go this other way, so I couldn't see him and I couldn't hardly hear him. So his idea was to push the walkie button and then just keep talking and talk to me about what he was saying on the walkie button for like the next 20 seconds. Just kept talking taking up all the airtime for the walkie-talkie, which is not what it's meant for, to carry on a conversation with me. And I was like, man, everyone else that has a walkie right now is just getting this conversation that we're having in their ear too, and they're probably so confused. They're like, what the fuck are they talking about? I don't remember exactly what we were talking about. I just remember I was thinking, oh my gosh, Matt, you can't, this is a gross misuse of the walkie-talkie. But that's what he would do. That's the kind of guy he was. He really didn't care. He would push the envelope. He'd do whatever he really thought he could do and get away with it, and what he wanted to do, especially when it came to talking to people. And I thought that was funny. There's really no other. I knew this guy for like a year or so, and we never hung out outside of work, but I always remember him being there and walking around saying just the weirdest stuff and being gross. And he's the Deadpool, Rick and Morty guy. You know, that was his thing, his type of humor. He was the Deadpool, Rick and Morty guy. He would wear the t-shirts. He would have the merch. I think he had like hats. He wore these, this Deadpool hat and these beanies. Excuse me. And that's just like, you can picture that in your head. And he was balding, and he would always talk about his balding. And he was like, man, I would just say, you just got to shave it off, man. You just got to go fully out, rip it off. You know, he had the male pattern balding a little bit. I told him it'd look badass if you just shave your head. But he'd still, let it grow a little bit. I think eventually he did really go fully shaven head, but for a while there he had the male pattern baldness going on. And you know, it works for the weirdo creepy Matt look. Yeah, he was pulling it off. What else can I say about him? He'll be missed. There's a lot of fun that left the world, you know. We need people like that. Some chaotic, fun mess of a person. And you could tell that he had a good heart, though, too, because he was never mean to anybody. He was never just rude to anybody on purpose. Like, he would say some outlandish thing that may offend you, but it was never like to be mean, you know. He just really didn't have a filter. So, that's Matt. I don't think I have anything else to say. So, I'm going to try to keep, I guess this can just be a real short episode of the podcast. And figure out what else I want to talk about and what else I want to maybe try to find a guest for next week. Yeah. So, here's the, I'm going to throw the pictures up of Matt and the videos. And this goes out to you, my guy. I hope wherever you are that you're doing fine and that you're feeling better than you did here. And if it's just in the black void, then I know, you know, you're resting, you're at peace. But if there was a good place, you know, I hope that you get to test for it and that you can improve yourself and get into the good place. Just like the show. Because that'd be cool. It'd be cool to see you again up there one day and say, hey, what's up, dude? How's it? Where's the cool spots to hang out? All right, everybody. Thanks for listening to this short episode of the podcast. And like I said again, if you need anyone to talk to, or you know you're having problems in your life, there's hotlines out there. There is places that you can contact, and you never know. They could always help. And reach out to me. I'll chat with you. I I can try to relate to what you're going through. I haven't had many experiences, but I'm almost 30, so I've had some experiences, so I can talk to a couple things, you know what I mean? So here's the clips and all that, and everybody take care. All right, bye.
Booty, 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 booty. Abba booty. Say mama, mama. Hi, mama. Say hi, mama. Hi, mama. We miss you, mama. We love you, mama. Say we love you, mama. Say mama love you. I love you, mama. Booty. Trash. Diaper butt. Stop being a climbing baby. Hey, get down. No. Get down.